I do not care what they say. There is no excuse. Wagwan people, I'm Ty Smith. Welcome to my channel, Modern Renaissance Man. I appreciate you taking time out of your day, out of your evening, depending on what side of the pond you're on, to watch my content. If you do enjoy my content, make sure you hit the like button so that this can be recommended to you as you watch this. Also, don't forget to follow me on all the platforms you see above and below. Last but not least, double check and make sure that you still are subscribed to the channel, because YouTube is unsubscribing people. So make sure you do that, all right? Appreciate it. Okay, folks, so yeah, we're continuing on with this, and y'all know, if you have not been hearing my rants as of late, I've been going completely crazy, haywire, completely obliterating this poor job I felt was done by the Secret Service. Now, you guys are going to watch this video, and you need to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not talking about the Secret Service that actually sprang into action to protect President Trump. I'm talking about the fact that the perimeter wasn't set up in the proper way that it should have. I don't care. It was not set up like it should have for a man to be able to put a ladder on the side of a building, scale the ladder. He's on the roof crawling. He's crawling. People telling folks, people telling police, people telling, yelling at the Secret Service them. The dude is on the roof with a gun. Anyway, before I even get deeper into that, y'all, check this out.
Frank Loveridge is the former head of the Presidential Protective Detail for the Secret Service. He joins us now for more on the response. So, Frank, you had two responses here. You had the protective detail that immediately leapt to action and protected the former president. You had the counter-sniper team on the roof who immediately took out the suspect. But then there's the other side of the story, and I want to put up this satellite view of the area where the president was speaking. You can see where the president was speaking. You can see the shooter's location there on that roof. It says on this map it's approximately 160 yards. I measured it out at 412 feet, well within the effective range of an AR-style rifle, even for somebody who's got relatively little experience. How in the world was that location left unguarded?
So, John, thank you for having me on. First of all, I don't believe it was unguarded. There is no way that they missed that during the advance. There were assets, obviously, designed to neutralize any threats from that area. What we have to find out is what went wrong. Why didn't they detect this individual? Why didn't the communication work between the witnesses to the police and then forward to the Secret Service? That's something we have to look into. The good thing about the Secret Service is everything is documented. There's everything in writing. We have a Special Operations Division tactical survey, which will tell us exactly who is designated to that area and exactly what the responsibilities were. There's a site post assignment log, which will tell us where all of our officers and all of our agents were posted, what their instructions were. We have an emergency action plan also involved for critical instances. We need to review those documents. We need to interview these people and find out what happened, because we are a proactive organization. I mentioned it last night. Our job is to do the advance, to mitigate the threats, to eliminate the threats, and to make sure that it's safe when they walk in there. Yeah. We should never have to go into that reactive mode.
I mean, for so many of us who have had so much time to now analyze, digest, and I mean, you've got the obvious expert professional perspective here. It's 2024. How is there not like a drone flying around that would have picked off a sniper on a roof that close to the former president?
That's an excellent question. So we normally have aerial surveillance for the president, as you all know. His call sign is Huntsman. And basically they use FLIR as well. Now, with the temperatures the way they were yesterday, I'm not sure how good FLIR would work, because it was rather warm. But bottom line is, normally these assets are designated for the President of the United States. Once again, I'm retired. I didn't do the advance, so I'm not sure what assets they had in place. But that's one asset that I would say would have been very helpful to detect this individual, as well as posting that area as well and having people on the outside. I know that we do have units involved on the exterior to identify these types of threats. And something went wrong. We know that. But before we start passing judgment, I just want to make sure that we review all the documents, the postings, interview, and find out what happened. Were they diverted for another reason from that area, which they shouldn't have been? Were there assets that weren't where they were supposed to be? These are questions that have to be answered. There's a lot that has to be answered.
Yeah, Frank, I've been to many presidential events, many presidential campaign events, and any time that I have been to an event where there is an elevated position that could potentially be used as a shooting position, there have been officers, whether they be local police or whether they be Secret Service officers, who've been posted in those buildings. So if you've got a parking garage that's down the street, it's got multiple levels, you've got officers on every level of that building. Why in your mind, wouldn't they have posted either a uniformed Secret Service or a local police officer, not just around that building, but on the roof of that building?
So I agree 100% with you that that was probably our major threat, especially from a sniper position. And should there have been officers posted? Should there have been agents posted? You're absolutely correct. Whatever was designed in that tactical plan, we need to review it and determine what went wrong. Wow. There may have been someone that was supposed to be there, and they might have been defeated. They might have been, their attention might have been taken away for whatever reason it might have been. It's not acceptable. Absolutely not acceptable. But we need to find out exactly what happened there, because there's no way they missed that. There's no way they missed that building being 130
Could I
yards
ask you,
away.
as we continue to watch this video together of the Secret Service response, John and I have been, playing this for our viewers all afternoon, and certainly everybody's been watching this since yesterday. But the immediate response of those Secret Service agents to cover the former president, to walk him off that stage. Give us your thoughts on how they handled that, and was that to a T how it should have been handled by the Secret Service?
So the cover and evacuate was done exactly according to training. I was in charge of training the president's detail. I was the one that certified lead advance agents before they did advances, when they went out there and signed off on it. But I will tell you this much. That response was honorable. They honored their oath. They put their bodies in the line of fire, just like they swore they would do. You see how fast they moved on that dais. You saw that body bunker. You saw them moving, and once they've assessed the medical condition of the president, moving into an armored vehicle to get him out of that area as quickly as possible. The shift and the individuals surrounding that dais did their job yesterday. We can't take that away from them. And they need to be honored for that.
Yeah, Frank, I mean, the Presidential Protective Detail did a great job. The CAT team responded as it should. The counter-sniper team took out the shooter. But again, I mean, this comes down to it's almost like the hand of Providence intervened here. It sounded like the shooter was rushed to take his shot because people were on the ground yelling. There's a report in the AP about a local police officer who encountered him on the roof, but when he pointed his rifle at the officer retreated. A little puff of wind here or there, the bullet goes slightly off trajectory. The former president happened to turn his head just as the shot was being taken and nicked him in the ear as opposed to hitting him full in the skull. I mean, we mourn for Corey Comparator, who was killed. We pray for the people who are in hospital recovering. But if it not had been for a couple of minor little things that happened, we could be talking about the assassination of a former president today.
I totally understand that. And I will tell you, you talked about the police and the Secret Service. So we work off encrypted radios. And what happens is we're paired up with the police department so that we can get communication to our people. The bottom line is, did that communication fail? Were we not able to put that over the air so our counter-sniper teams and our observers could train their attention towards that area? There seems to be a disconnect in the communication. Having investigated these types of events before, not exactly at this level, but you see communication sometimes is a problem. And that is making sure that anything that the police see can get to us so we can quickly react to that. So that could have been a problem. But once again, I don't want to speak without having someone interview and find out exactly what happened as far as why it didn't happen the way it should have.
You know, Frank, before you go, I want to play this sound of an interview John and I had in the earlier hours with U.S. Rep. Tim Burchett. He said it's time for the head of Secret Service to go after this happened. Here he made the case. Listen.
Somebody really dropped the ball. You've got a DEI, basically a DEI initiative person who heads up our Secret Service. She was working at Pepsi before this. I know she was a former Secret Service agent, but still, this is what happens when you don't put the best players in. It's a complete failure on our part. There was a complete breakdown of communication all the way down the line. And so that starts at the top. The head of the Secret Service needs to go. That is obvious, but I doubt that will happen.
So we haven't heard from her publicly. We have not seen her take to a microphone or explain what she saw happen or what they know now. She was in the briefing room with the president. We saw the Situation Room photograph with the security officials and the president and the vice president this morning. She was there. But she's been at the helm directing the Secret Service for 2 years now, I believe. She's had some role at the Secret Service for 25 years. Do you too believe, in the wake of this, that she needs to go?
Well, I would say that I've worked with Kim. We were in inspection division together. We crossed paths many occasions. She was on the vice president's detail when I was on the president's detail. But I will tell you, I'm not going to make any comments on whether she should go or not. I think a full investigation has to be done. And after that's completed, then you can formulate thoughts and make decisions at that point. I think it's a little premature to make that statement now.
There are so many aspects of this investigation that have yet to be uncovered, and it's going to go on for a long time. Frank Loveridge, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, so y'all saw that, you heard all that, and the guy did a very good job explaining all that, but even he too had to admit that something's wrong there. Now, again, guys, let's make this clear. Like I told you guys in earlier videos, as a father, if my sons know, and I've trained them thoroughly on what they're supposed to do when it comes to anything. An example that I gave was cleaning their room. If I go in there and the room is not clean, it doesn't matter. Dad's rule was when dad comes home, before dad gets home, the room is to be clean. Well, Ty, you got a wife at home too? No, once I have this thing between my sons and I, they're capable of cleaning their room. They know how to clean their room. They do a good job cleaning their room. There is no, oh, well, mom, nuh-uh, you know to do it, don't you? Yeah, but I thought mom had to tell me. No. You know to do it, period. So if I come home and the room is not clean, there's no excuse. Unless you were severely hurt, you had diarrhea, you vomit, you got sick, you fell, you broke your leg, you got a bad headache. Otherwise, if you're completely healthy, there's no excuse why your room isn't clean. So what I'm saying, I don't care what they try to come up and say. There is no excuse for them not to be on those roofs. If you've never attended a Trump rally, y'all know what I'm talking about. They are everywhere on the roof, walking back and forth, the whole nine. That's what they're doing. No way. Y'all can disagree with me, but I'm just telling you, no, I don't care. I don't care about no 4-month-long investigation the FBI them are going to do. This was a failure on the Secret Service part as far as setting up a secure perimeter when it comes to being on top of high vantage points like that, period. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Do you disagree? Let me know. If you agree, let me know. But to me right now, no excuse. No, I'm not talking about the ones that sprang into action again to protect him. I'm talking about before this even got where it was. No excuse whatsoever. Sorry. Let me know what y'all think by putting the comments below after this video. And don't forget to do what you see going on in this little virtual thing right here. Yeah, and also don't forget to click that thumbs up button, all right? Appreciate you all. I'm Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, I pray every last one of you guys are in great health mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.